Hi everyone, it's Dr. E and I'm here with a brief video that kind of walks through the guidelines and expectations for the written response assignment. I'm going to apologize in advance for the sound of a dog in the background chewing a bone incessantly. It never seems to end. And there is a running fountain that you may hear as well. So we really want to kind of look at this assignment as a way that not only hones our writing skills, but is also pushing us to actively engage in our reading. We did a response last week, but now we're moving into the more formal assignment. So I really want us to think about the purpose, right? And so we want to actively engage and really show that we are thinking critically. Now, if you're like me, there will be times when I'm reading for school, for work, whatever, and it will be a number of pages that go by, and then I realize I have not been paying attention. I probably can't recall what I've read, and so actively engaging in that reading is really going to help us retain information, but also work to put that information into action when we're writing, right? So what you'll do for each response, you're going to upload a document in the assignment area of D2L, right? You did that already. I will have a template. Please use the template. It's already set up with MLA formatting, which includes spacing, heading. Note that when you start a new document in Microsoft Word, which hopefully you've downloaded the full version, it's not formatted properly at all. So if I start typing, it's not in the right font, it's not spaced correctly, it's just not set up to meet the MLA guidelines. And you would have to go through several steps in order to accomplish that. So instead, just use the template, okay? It will make everything easier. And here's a link again to download the full Office 365 suite. All right, so for each entry, you're going to include the week number. So coming up week 2, the text title, that text that you were being asked to examine in that particular week. It may be a TED Talk title or a chapter reading like it is this week. So we really want to keep the title and the author in mind. For our text, just reference the overall main text editor, Lunsford. Okay, and I put for MLA formatting while using our course text, we must put the text title in quotation marks because we're referencing chapters from a book. Those go in quotation marks. The overall book title is italicized, so some MLA stuff we need to keep in mind. All right, so after you include all of these bits of information, you're going to answer a prompt. And I push you to really think about this not as a formal essay. When I use the word essay or paper, it tends to raise our blood pressure, freak us out a little bit. No, I want you to really think about this as kind of like a discussion post, but instead of posting for the class to see, you're posting it for me so that I can also provide you with direct feedback. One of the benefits is that I can open the documents, I can provide you with feedback through Turnitin. So do understand that this information does go through Turnitin to check for plagiarism or to check for AI composed work, so just things to keep in mind. But I don't want you to, in the back of your mind, keep thinking essay. Yes, it is a formal assignment. It's going to, have expectations that relate to writing, but I don't want you to look at it and think too, in a too kind of stressful approach, right? All right. Finally, after, let me pause to cough one moment. All right, after you've answered the quote and however many paragraphs have been assigned, you're going to then, from the text that we've read, choose a quote. Okay, it should be one that you think is important, something that's connected to the reading. I want you to include this quote and follow MLA guidelines, so make sure you have those quotation marks. Make sure you're double and triple checking the accuracy. You need to type the quote exactly as it appears on the page, right? That's MLA. Use in-text citation information. If you need a refresher on some of this stuff, visit the Purdue Online Writing Lab website here, and that's where you can find some great examples. I'm pulling it up. All right, sorry there for having to pause for a moment. Here is a link that takes you to MLA in-text citation basics, so it gives you just the information that you need. The example, and here are a couple of examples that they typically use about where to put the page number, the last name of the author, that kind of thing. All right, so going back to the guidelines. There's also a rubric, okay? So what you want to do is this just kind of gives you a perspective of if you want to achieve a certain grade, these are the things you want to make sure that you accomplish, right? So it's engagement with the prompt, making sure that things are related to the text, and then of course that last element is the quote. All right, I also want to show you the template so that you can see that everything is already set up in MLA formatting. So you just enter your information here. You go up here and double click, put your last name, double click outside of that, and then you just fill in the information. So you put the title in this area, use the author's name. After hitting the return key, you'll place your quote here. So you just delete this, right? And then start your quote, explanation, yada yada, whatever it is that you need. So erase the things that you don't need. Remember to save your file as a name that is useful. Sometimes people will save, so you'll see that the title of this file when you download it is Written Response Template. Sometimes people will save it with that title, right, and then get it confused with the actual template and then upload the template, and that leads to a 0 grade because there's no information included, right? So make sure that you're doing, like written response week 2 or something like that, just to save yourself some grief. I did want to show you a brief example just to kind of give you a visual of what it looks like on the page. This is from a previous student. It's also from a literature class. So we have the title of the text and then the name of the author. Okay, and you'll see that the student, there's nothing fancy about MLA format, right? You just go right into it. There aren't a bunch of spaces or different sized fonts. You'll see that this student is using a quote and then supporting with the text page number. Okay, scrolling down, and then you'll see there's a space here, and this is where the student has chosen a quote, given the page number and author information, and then given that justification. I chose this quote because, we need to understand, where does this quote appear? Why is it important? That kind of information. All right, so those are really the basics when it comes down to the written response assignment, but of course let me know if you have any questions or concerns. And again, all of this information will be available in this week's module, as well as in the content area where all the rubrics and information for assignments is located. All right, take care, good luck.